Have you ever wondered why sometimes your most well-laid plans just don't seem to work out? We've all been there, haven't we? You've carefully crafted a plan, be it for a new business venture, a personal goal, or even a surprise birthday party. You've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and yet somehow things just didn't pan out the way you envisioned. It's almost as if the universe was privy to your plans and decided to throw a wrench in the works. Now here's a thought. Could it be that our plans often go awry, not because of some cosmic conspiracy, but because we revealed them too soon, or to the wrong people? Consider this. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 19, it is written, "In the multitude of words sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise." In other words, there's wisdom in keeping our words, especially our plans, close to the chest. The power of silence is often underestimated, but it has the potential to be a formidable ally. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's a space, a sanctuary, where our thoughts can take shape, where our dreams can grow wings, and where our plans can solidify without the influence or interruption of others. It's also a shield, protecting our plans from the prying eyes and ears of those who may not have our best interest at heart. Remember, not every ear that listens is friendly, and not every eye that sees is kind. By keeping our plans to ourselves, we are not only safeguarding them from potential sabotage, but also giving them the room to evolve and adapt without external pressure or scrutiny. So, the next time you're tempted to share your grand plans, take a moment, reflect on the power of silence and the wisdom of the biblical verse. Hold your plans close, nurture them in silence, and let them unfold in their own time and way. Could it be that our plans failed because we revealed them too soon or to the wrong people? What if I told you that the Bible itself warns us about the dangers of revealing our plans? Intriguing, isn't it? We live in a world where we're encouraged to share our every thought and plan on social media. Yet the wisdom of the Bible suggests a different approach. Consider the book of Proverbs, specifically Proverbs 27:1. It says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth." What a powerful message. This verse doesn't just remind us of the uncertainty of life, it also cautions us against revealing our plans. Why might this be? Well, first, it's a humble reminder of our limited human understanding. We can plan and strategize all we want, but ultimately, life is unpredictable. By keeping our plans to ourselves, we acknowledge that we do not have control over what tomorrow may bring. Second, sharing our plans can sometimes lead us to become complacent. We might feel a false sense of accomplishment simply by talking about our plans, which can deter us from taking the necessary steps to actualize them. Third, when we reveal our plans, we open ourselves up to the scrutiny and judgment of others. This can lead to self-doubt and second-guessing, which may derail our progress. And finally, by revealing our plans, we may inadvertently invite negative energy or envy from others. This can create unnecessary obstacles and challenges in our path. Instead, the Bible encourages us to focus on the present, to work diligently and faithfully without the need for validation or approval from others. It teaches us to trust in God's plan, even when we can't see the whole picture. So before you rush to share your next big plan, pause and reflect. Remember Proverbs 27:1. Consider the potential pitfalls of revealing your plans prematurely. Instead, channel your energy into action. Work in silence and let your achievements speak for themselves. The Bible teaches us not to boast about tomorrow, but to live in the present and keep our plans to ourselves. But what about God's plans? How do they fit into this equation? If you're familiar with the Bible, you might have come across Jeremiah 29:11, where it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." This verse is a powerful reminder that God's plans for us are always for our good. Now, this doesn't mean that God's plans always align with our own. In fact, sometimes they can seem like they're in direct opposition. You might have a plan to move to a big city, but somehow you end up in a small town. Or maybe you've been working towards a promotion, only to be laid off. It's in these moments, when our plans seem to be falling apart, that we need to remember Jeremiah 29:11. God's plans are not our plans. His ways are not our ways. He sees the bigger picture, the end from the beginning, and He knows what's truly best for us. This can be a hard pill to swallow, especially when we're in the midst of disappointment or heartbreak. But God doesn't promise that our lives will be free of hardship. Instead, He promises to walk with us through the valleys, to comfort us in our sorrow, and to use our trials for our good and His glory. And here's the beautiful part. When we align our plans with God's plans, we're not giving up control. Instead, we're placing our trust in the one who holds the universe in his hands. We're acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, and that's okay, because he does. Now, this doesn't mean we should just sit back and do nothing, waiting for God to magically make our lives perfect. No, we still need to make plans, set goals, and work hard. But we do so with an open hand, willing to let go if God leads us in a different direction. You see, when we hold our plans loosely, we leave room for God to work. We allow him to guide us, to shape us, and to lead us on the path he's prepared for us. And who knows, maybe his plan is even better than anything we could have dreamed up on our own. So, how do we align our plans with God's plans? It starts with prayer. Ask God to show you his will for your life. Seek his guidance in the decisions you make. Trust that he has a plan for you, even if it's different than what you had in mind. And when it comes to sharing your plans with others, remember the power of silence. It's not about keeping secrets or being dishonest. It's about trusting in God's timing and not allowing the opinions or expectations of others to sway you from the path he set before you. When we trust in God's plans and keep our own plans to ourselves, we open up the possibility for our life to align with his divine plan. How does the power of silence relate to God's plans, you might ask? It's a valid question, and the answer lies in the heart of our faith, in the sacred words of the Bible. In Psalm 46:10, we read, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." These words don't just serve as a poignant reminder of God's omnipotence, they also provide a blueprint for how we ought to live our lives. When we are still, when we embrace silence, we create a space for God to speak. The noises of the world can drown out his voice, but in silence, his whispers become clear. In stillness, we can discern his divine plans, understand his will, and align our actions with his purpose. Think about it. When you're in a noisy room, can you hear your own thoughts? Likely not. Now imagine trying to hear someone else's thoughts in that same room. It's a near impossible task. The same principle applies when trying to understand God's plans. The clamor of our own plans, the chatter of our thoughts, and the din of the world around us can make it hard for us to hear God's voice. But in silence, in stillness, we can listen, we can understand, and we can align ourselves with his divine plan. Silence is more than just the absence of sound. It's an intentional quieting of our hearts and minds to better hear God. It's a powerful tool that allows us to connect with the divine, to understand his will, and to align our actions with his plans. In this way, silence is not just beneficial for us on a personal level, it's a spiritual discipline that brings us closer to God, that allows us to understand his plans, and that empowers us to live in alignment with his will. So we see that the power of silence is not just about protecting our own plans, it's about creating a space for God to speak, for his plans to be revealed, and for us to align ourselves with his divine will. In silence, we not only protect our own plans, but we also open ourselves to understanding and aligning with God's plans. So, what's the takeaway from all this? We've journeyed through the profound power of silence, the potential perils of prematurely unveiling our aspirations, and the significance of aligning ourselves with God's divine design. In life's grand theater, silence is not merely an absence of noise. It's a tool, a shield, a quiet sanctuary where our deepest dreams can grow, untouched by outside influence or distraction. It's in this stillness that we can truly hear the whisperings of God's plans for us. Revealing our plans too soon can expose them to unnecessary scrutiny, criticism, and even sabotage. It's not about hiding or being secretive, but about nurturing our dreams privately until they are robust enough to withstand the world's stormy seas. Above all, we've learned about the alignment of our plans with God's. This divine synergy is the compass guiding us through life's maze. The power of silence is immense. It keeps our plans safe and allows us to listen to God's plans for us. Remember, the wisest man holds his tongue. Now go forth in silence and experience the power it holds.